The last prayer changed everything. He had prayed the same prayer for 11 years, every single night, on his knees beside his bed. Same words, same desperation, same silence that greeted him on the other side. And on a cold November night, he decided he was done. He clasped his hands together one final time, looked up at the ceiling, and said out loud to a God he wasn't sure was listening anymore, "This is the last time I'm doing this. If you don't answer me tonight, I'm done. I'm walking away and I'm not coming back." He didn't know it yet, but that prayer, the last one, the angry one, the desperate one, was the one that changed absolutely everything. His name was Marcus. He was 41 years old. And if you asked the people who knew him, they would tell you he was one of the most faithful men they'd ever met. He had grown up in the church. Not the kind of church where you show up on Easter and Christmas and call it good. The kind where your family had a pew that was practically named after you. His grandmother had led the choir for 30 years. His father had been a deacon. Faith wasn't something Marcus had chosen so much as something he had been born into, breathed and like air, carried in his bones from the time he was old enough to fold his hands and bow his head. He had believed with everything he had, and then his son was born. Daniel came into the world on a May morning, 6 pounds and 4 ounces, with a full head of dark hair and his mother's nose and his father's stubbornness. That part was clear from the very first day. Marcus had held him in the hospital and cried in a way that embarrassed him a little, and he didn't care at all. He had prayed over that baby boy before they even left the hospital. "Lord, I give him to you. Keep him safe. Make him good. Let him know you." Daniel was 2 years old when the doctors found something wrong. It started with small things. Fatigue that seemed unusual for a toddler, a stumble that didn't look right, a slurring of words that his pediatrician said they should watch. And then they watched, and then they tested, and then a specialist in a quiet office with diplomas on the wall used words that Marcus had never imagined would belong to his family. Marcus sat in that office next to his wife, Angela, and held her hand while the doctor explained what the rest of their son's life might look like. He nodded in the right places. He asked the right questions. He thanked the doctor for his time. And then he walked with Angela to the parking garage and sat in the driver's seat and did not start the car for a very long time. They went home and they held their son and they put him to bed. And after Angela cried herself to sleep, Marcus knelt beside his bed in the dark and prayed the first of what would become 11 years of the same prayer. "Please heal him. Lord, please. He's just a little boy. Please heal him." He prayed it with fire in the beginning, with absolute certainty, the way you pray when your faith is strong and you believe that if you just ask with enough conviction, with enough scripture, with enough fasting and surrender, God will move. He did everything right. He fasted. He got prayer teams from 3 churches interceding for Daniel. He anointed his son's forehead with oil. He stood on every healing promise he could find in the Bible and declared them out loud over his sleeping child. He believed with everything in him. The years moved slowly, the way hard years always do. Daniel learned to adapt the way children are staggeringly good at doing. He was bright and funny and stubborn and loved comic books and terrible puns. He adored his father. He called Marcus Dad in a way that made the word feel like the most important word in the English language, but the condition progressed. Some seasons were better than others. Some were very, very hard. And Marcus prayed every single night on his knees, the same prayer. Please heal him. He watched other people in his congregation receive miracles. He celebrated with them genuinely, even as something quiet and heavy settled a little deeper into his chest each time. He listened to sermons about faith and healing and God's goodness. And he took notes, and he said amen, and he went home, and he knelt beside his bed. And he asked again, year after year after year. Silence didn't make Marcus loud and angry.
Why is this happening?
It made him quiet. It made him go through the motions. He still came to church.
Don't understand what's happening.
He still served.
Why is everything
He
so
still helped
complicated?
people
I need
because helping
answers.
people was in his nature and he didn't know how to stop.
This is terrifying.
But somewhere deep
What do I do?
inside, in a place he never showed anyone, not Angela, not his pastor, not his closest friends, a slow, aching question had taken root. Does he even hear me? By the time Daniel was 13, Marcus was exhausted in a way that had nothing to do with sleep.
Please help.
Angela could see it in his eyes
Why is this
sometimes,
happening to
that
me?
hollowness,
I can't
and she
handle
would
this
take his
anymore.
hand without saying anything.
I just don't
Because
understand
she
what's
was carrying her own
Why is
version of the
everything
same
so
weight,
complicated?
and neither of
I
them
need answers.
knew quite how to say it out loud. And then Daniel got
This is
sick,
terrifying.
really sick.
What do I do?
A sudden decline, the doctor said. His body was struggling in new ways. There was a hospitalization. There were long nights in a chair by a hospital bed. There were conversations with doctors that left Marcus walking to the hospital chapel at midnight just to stand in the silence, unable to
Why
pray,
is this happening
unable
to
to
me?
speak,
I can't
just standing
handle
there in
this
the dark
anymore.
like a man who has run,
I just don't
completely
understand
out
what's
of
happening.
words. He had
Why is
given
everything
everything
so
to this
complicated?
faith,
I need
everything.
answers. I don't
For
understand what's happening.
11 years, and his
This is
boy was still sick.
terrifying.
It was
What do
a
I do?
Thursday night in November when Marcus drove home from the hospital,
Something with you.
walked into his quiet house, and stood in the hallway for a long time.
Happening.
Angela had stayed with Daniel overnight. The house was still and cold. He walked to the bedroom. He stood beside the bed. He didn't fold his
Why
hands
is
this
this happening
time.
to me?
He pressed them
I
flat
can't
against the
handle this
mattress.
anymore.
His jaw was tight.
I just don't
His
understand
eyes
what's
were
happening.
wet. And
Why
he
is
said
everything
it.
so complicated?
This is the last
I
time.
need answers.
I'm
I
done
don't
pretending.
understand what's
I believe you're going to do
This is
something.
terrifying.
I'm done
What do I do?
performing this prayer like everything is fine when it's not fine.
Share something with
11 years, God. 11 years I have asked you for one thing.
happening.
One thing.
Changes everything.
My son. And you have said nothing.
Have to do something.
You have done nothing.
This can't go
And I'm
on.
tired.
Please
I'm
help
so
me.
tired. His voice
Why is
cracked
this
on the last
happening to
word.
me?
I don't know
I
if you're
can't handle this
real.
anymore.
I don't know if any of this
I
is
just
real
don't
anymore.
understand what's happening.
But if you are,
Why is
if you're
everything
actually
so
there,
complicated?
then I need you
I
to
need
hear me right
answers.
now.
I don't understand.
Not because I have the right words
This
or
is
because my
terrifying.
faith is
What
strong.
do I do?
Because I have nothing left.
I just wanted to
You hear me?
share something
Nothing.
with you.
This is all I've got. He lowered his head until his forehead touched the mattress.
Changes
I don't know how to do this without you. I don't know how to watch my son suffer and still believe you're good. I don't know how to keep going. So if you're
Why is
there,
this
God,
happening to
please, not just for
Can't handle this
Daniel,
anymore.
for me. I need you to
just
show
don't
up.
understand what's happening.
I need to know
Why
you're
is
real.
everything so complicated?
Because right
I
now,
need
I've got
answers.
nothing.
I don't understand.
He stayed
what's
there for a
happening.
long time.
This is terrifying.
The house was completely
What do I
silent,
do?
and then Marcus felt something.
I just
He had
wanted
felt it once before.
share something with
When he was 19 years old and had given his life to Christ at a summer camp and stood in a lake up to his waist and felt something fill him up so completely it left no room for anything else. He hadn't felt it since. Not in
Why is
11
this
years of
happening to me?
desperate, exhausted
I
praying,
can't handle
but he
this
felt it
anymore.
now. It was warmth.
I just
It
don't
was
understand what's
presence.
happening.
It was
Why
the
is everything so
overwhelming,
complicated?
undeniable
I need
sense that the
answers.
room was
I
no
don't
longer
understand
empty,
what's happening.
that something,
This is
someone had drawn
terrifying.
very
What do
close.
I do?
That the silence he had been shouting into for 11 years was not absence at all, but the silence of someone sitting very close, very still, holding everything he had been pouring out. A thought settled in his chest. Not a voice,
Go on.
not words from the sky,
Help me.
just something that
Why
arrived
is this
fully
happening
formed,
to me?
the way certain truths
I
do,
can't handle this
and changed the
anymore.
shape of everything. I
I
have
just
been here
don't
every
understand
night,
what's happening.
every
Why is
single
everything
one.
so complicated?
Marcus pressed
I
his
need
hands
answers.
harder into the
I don't
mattress.
understand what's happening.
His shoulders shook.
This is terrifying.
You were never praying into
What do I
silence.
do?
I have heard every word.
I just wanted to
I have caught every
share
tear.
something with you.
And I am not finished yet. The next morning, Marcus drove back to the hospital with eyes that were swollen and a heart that felt both wrecked and somehow lighter than it had in a decade. He sat with Daniel, who was having a decent morning,
Why is this happening
which felt
to
like
me?
its own small
I
mercy.
can't handle this anymore.
They talked about comics. They
just
talked
don't
about a
understand
movie
what's
Daniel
happening.
wanted to see.
Why is everything so
Daniel made a
complicated?
terrible
I
pun,
need
and
answers.
Marcus
I
laughed
don't
so
understand
hard
what's happening.
he had to look out the
This is
window so his son
terrifying.
wouldn't see him
What do I
cry.
do?
3 days later, a doctor came to them with something unexpected, a clinical trial, one that had just opened enrollment, one that was specifically designed for Daniel's condition, one that had shown early results that the doctor described, carefully and professionally
Why is
as
this happening to
promising.
me?
He said they
I
were a
can't
strong
handle this
candidate.
anymore.
He said he wanted to submit their
don't understand what's
information
happening.
immediately.
Why is everything
Angela
so
grabbed
complicated?
Marcus's
I
hand
need
under the
answers.
table and
I
held
don't
it
understand
so
what's
tightly he could feel her
This is
pulse.
terrifying.
He is not going to
What do
tell
I
you the
do?
trial was a cure. He is not going to tell you the road suddenly became easy. But what happened over the following months was something the doctors began to describe, with professional restraint, as remarkable. Daniel responded. His body responded. Things that had been declining began to
Why is
stabilize.
this happening to me?
Some things began
I can't
slowly,
handle this
tentatively,
anymore.
almost shyly, to
I just
improve.
don't understand what's
One of
happening.
Daniel's
Why
doctors,
is everything so
a quiet
complicated?
man who is
I
not
need
known for
answers.
dramatic
I don't
statements,
understand what's happening.
pulled Marcus aside
This
in a
is
hallway
terrifying.
one afternoon
What do I
and
do?
said simply, "I've been doing this for 22 years.
Share something.
I don't have a better explanation than Grace. Daniel is 17. He still has hard days. The road is still not straight or simple. But he is here. He is sharp and funny, and he still loves terrible puns, and his laugh
Why is
sounds
this
like his
happening to
father's
me?
laugh, and he
I
wants
can't
to study
handle this
medicine one
anymore.
day. Because he says if
I
anyone
just don't
knows what
understand what's
patients are
happening.
G,
Why is everything so complicated? I need answers.